Hi, this is Graham Jeacocke. Just came across something interesting about Chris Rock, and I found out that he has a learning disorder, NVLD. Never heard of that before. Anyway, I have Asperger's, and I can understand the how it can be problematic, and it might explain why Chris Rock, even though he's a comedian, he doesn't understand how others view what someone is saying. Just like when I have Asperger's, I don't understand certain things when people say things to me or do things, or but here's the thing. Denzel Washington is a Christian, okay? Now, if Denzel Washington is a friend of Will Smith, okay, should have been preached to. Will Smith preached to us about how to protect your family, your loved ones. He stood in his personal pulpit, that of the Oscars or Hollywood, and said, this is how we should behave, okay? But Denzel Washington failed as a Christian. I'm not saying he failed at other aspects of being a Christian, but he definitely failed at convincing Will Smith how to behave when people say things, okay? Because Denzel obviously knows the crucifixion scene, and he obviously knows the Bible, okay? And what does it say at the crucifixion scene? As Jesus is being nailed, Jesus says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Right? So, we have to focus here. We have to discipline ourselves like an athlete. Like when Will Smith became Muhammad Ali for the film role. Okay? Now, whenever two people are interacting, you can choose to do one of two things. You can choose to say, I am the boss, right? And whatever happens, you are at the mercy of how I react to it, right? That's how Will Smith behaved. Or you can go down the route that Jesus taught his followers, right? And you have, when Chris, right? So we have to recreate the scene again. So when Will Smith, okay, listened to the joke of Chris Rock, right? He initially laughed, okay? Now, apparently, Ben Shapiro said that Will Smith turned to his wife, and that was what triggered his response to do something different. But I didn't see any video clip of Will turning to his wife, so I don't know where he heard that, or is it just an assumption he made? And that's pretty bad, because he's studied law, and you don't just fling around things that have not been verified. Anyway, let's just take the assumption, okay, that he turned round, okay, to see his wife upset. So he said, I'm going to do something about this. right? That's how he reacted. So he stormed on the stage. But let's rewind a bit. If Will Smith looked at his wife, began to say, oh, I'm going to go on stage, but then his mind was triggered by what happened with Jesus Christ. He focused on the event of the crucifixion. And these words, Jesus said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Right? Those words can be applied to people that you interact with. So, Will could have looked at Chris Rock and repeated the words at the cross, Father, forgive Chris Rock, for he knows not what he does. And that takes away your anger. It reduces the tension and the build-up. Obviously, it's going to vary from person to person how much you trust those words. But that's the key thing. Do you trust the truth in those words? Or do you trust the judgment of your actions? So Will Smith should have looked at Chris Rock and said, Father, forgive Chris Rock, for he knows not what he does, by saying the joke about my wife. Now, over time, right, if you're when you try and obey what's going on by these commands, you eventually become in tune with how you're behaving. Because it's happened with me. Because if I'm willing to judge others, then why aren't I judging myself? And that's the commands, right, are very powerful because they trigger a response from you. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Bye for now.